Welcome to the Signature Life Podcast, where we sit down with signature real estate agents with a shared conviction that moving towards things we want in life starts with the choices we make today. We're creating an ever-evolving culture for those who wish to participate in a larger mission to help others achieve their full potential and a signature life.
Welcome to the Signature Life Podcast. Today, I'm joined with the one and only Chris Patrick. Chris is one of our top agents at Signature, actually the number one producing agent last year for Signature Real Estate Group here in Las Vegas. He's been in real estate for 7 years, and he's from the Bay Area. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor.
I appreciate your time. I know podcasts aren't always the easiest thing to come talk, and especially when you're talking about yourself, but I'm interested to dig in and get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, that sounds good. No, it's like I said, it's an honor to be here, and I guess they really will let anybody on this program. Okay.
This is like our fourth or fifth episode, so you're one of the premium guests.
Oh, premium.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But kind of you've been at Signature almost 3 years now?
Something like that. I want to say I'd be going on my fourth now.
Yeah, going on 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kicking butt ever since you've been here. So before real estate, I mean, let's go way back. What was like your first job?
My first job ever was a paper route.
Paper route.
Yep, definitely. I think I was probably 12 or 13, something like that. You know, wake up at 5 a.m. and get those papers out to the neighborhood before you go to school.
Yeah.
Go collect the fee in the afternoon if you can. So a little bit of sales job, I guess.
So is that what got you into weightlifting, collecting the money?
I don't know if my paper route translated into the weightlifting and fitness thing at all, but that was my first job. And no, it was cool, you know. I mean, getting out there and either walking or riding my bike, and I got pretty good at throwing papers from my bike to porches, backhand or forehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you play sports at all in school or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been doing some sort of athletics pretty much my whole life. I played soccer and baseball growing up, so pretty fun times. Was really excelled at both of those. You know, all-star team and traveling team and this, that, and the other thing. We got to go to a lot of different states, and actually got to go to Canada once for our soccer team.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
So I played soccer. I think I did it for a half a season, and I don't think I could ever kick the ball. So
were you that kid picking daisies and sitting down in the
not quite that bad, but soccer was not my sport. So
yeah.
I did play some baseball.
Yeah.
Was a little bit better at that, but soccer was not for me. So paper route, and then you've been self-employed for a long time, right? You opened your own businesses early on. Did you work any other jobs before you went out on your own, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've had gas station jobs, cooking jobs. I think, in Colorado we had a couple of our own businesses there. So, I mean, I've always had like an entrepreneurial spirit and mindset. I've always disliked working for someone else, so to speak. So I've always kind of wanted to do my own thing. I guess that is one thing that kind of was exciting or enticing about real estate was I realized that, hey, you're an independent contractor here. You really are your own entrepreneur, you know. It's not a 9-to-5 job. I mean, you don't really have a boss. You are the boss. So that kind of fit my mold really well,
yeah.
You know, being an entrepreneur.
So you said that you opened businesses in Colorado. So you were born in the Bay Area. What brought you out to Colorado?
You know, back in my teenage years, I was really into skateboarding.
Yeah.
And we did that for a long time. And then I discovered snowboarding, probably about, I don't know, maybe 20 years old. It was kind of an upcoming thing. Snowboarding was getting big, or a little bigger than it was. So we started my mom was living in Tahoe at the time. And so we'd go visit mom, and we'd try snowboarding, and fell in love with it. I said, this is the coolest thing. You know, it really transitions well, skateboarding to snowboarding. So fell in love with that, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to do this part-time anymore. I want to be somewhere where I can ride every day, you know. So I think it was probably the summer of 1990. I had moved to my mom's in Tahoe for a couple of months in the summer, trying to decide where I was going to go. And I was considering living in Tahoe. You could get a pass for Heavenly for about $1,600. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. I'll just stay here. And around that time, I was actually in Tahoe at the time, now that I think of it. I'm on a chairlift, and I see my name written on the board at the top of the chairlift. It says, Chris Patrick, call Ski Patrol. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Why am I on the board here? What did I do? Am I in trouble? So I get to the top, and I call in, and they say, your dad's in the hospital.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. He's had an aneurysm. He's in the hospital. He's in a coma. I'm like, oh, shit. So we go back to Livermore, where he was, and, we're tending to that and everything. And my aunt and uncle have a bar in Livermore. And while I'm there at the bar, I meet a girl. And she's really into snowboarding, and we hit it off right away. And, it was one of those things like, you see the sunshine on a cloudy day or whatever, however the saying goes. Coming back to Livermore to tend to my dad, I was introduced to the girl that I met that eventually brought me to Colorado. So this girl was from Colorado. We decided to move to Colorado because of, her experience in living there. So kind of a crazy little transition there, how that all happened.
Yeah, and then you could snowboard out there.
And then I could snowboard out there. So Dad did end up passing away. He spent probably a month or two in the hospital in the coma, and we decided, it would be in his best interest to let it go. So that was a tough time.
That's a tough decision.
Yeah.
So then you leave there, you go to Colorado to start a new chapter.
Start a new chapter, yeah. We packed up we had a 75 El Camino with a camper shell on the back. Packed up all of our belongings, the girl I met, our dog, and everything we owned.
And went. In
this El Camino, their board strapped to the top, and moved to Colorado. Yeah, we lived in that truck for, a week or 2 weeks before we found a place to stay, and interesting times,
so
sleeping in the back of the El Camino.
You went out there, you didn't even have a place to stay. You're just packing up and going.
No.
And just trusting the process. Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
Wow.
I mean, I'm 21. I don't care. All I want to do is snowboard. Just, found the girl that seems like everything to me. I'm going to chase my dreams, right? That's all I wanted to do.
What color was the El Camino?
Black.
Black?
Yeah.
My cousin had a yellow one.
Yeah. I
thought it was the coolest car ever, yeah. So, so a couple weeks living in the El Camino, and then I guess you finally found a place. How'd you make a living out there, or how'd you get things started?
Yeah, my first job I took out there was a janitor for Breckenridge Ski Resort.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did that so I could get a free lift pass, right? All the employees get a season pass. So I was doing that from 4 p.m. till 11 or 12 at night, and we drive back over the pass. We lived in Alma. We were staying in Alma, which is on the other side of Hoosier Pass from Breckenridge. So we commute back and forth, but it was just ride all day, go to work at night, cleaning toilets, mopping floors.
So you could ride the next day.
You could ride the next day.
That's
all
pretty
it was
awesome.
about. Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
Snowboarding or the janitorial work?
Living the dream, So, yeah, I mean, kind of both. Before I'm sure you still snowboard.
No, as a matter of fact, I have since I left there in 2001. I've snowboarded exactly one time since.
Really?
Then. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, my snowboarding experience has been one time.
That was it?
Yeah, I was seeing a girl that was younger than me, and she was a snowboarder, and she said, we should try this. I said, great. So I rented the snowboard, and she says, you probably should get a helmet too. And I said, well, I've skied. I don't need a helmet. She goes, you probably should need a helmet. The first run down, I flipped down on my back, hit my head. I was thankful I had the helmet. The second run, I fall down again, and I'm looking across the way at another guy that's face down, and he goes, first day? And I go, yeah. And he goes, this is my second. And then I went right to the lodge. I said, this is not for me.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it's cool that you could do that and enjoy that. So you did that. You were a janitor. I mean, where did you go from there? I mean, obviously, you've come a long way. I mean, you're not cleaning toilets now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I was in Breckenridge for a total of 10 years.
Okay.
And, that was, you say, how long did this go on for, the snowboarding? The snowboarding went on for 10 years, and I probably averaged about 100 days a year on the mountain for 10 years. So I've been snowboarding about 1,000 times.
Wow.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
After the janitor job, let's see, I think I got a job cooking over in Frisco, I believe was my next job, which is a town adjacent to Breckenridge.
Mm-hmm.
So I was cooking at a Mexican restaurant. I started off as a dishwasher there, and I got promoted to line cook, which is basically an assembly line of wrapping burritos and spooning out beans. But it was cool. It was a night job. I mean, that's what you want, right? If you're there to snowboard, you need a night job.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody works in the day. Well, people do, but we didn't. So yeah, cook at a Mexican restaurant, and then I got a job in Breckenridge at a liquor store. I said, this is a little better. I don't have to drive to Frisco anymore. I don't have to come home smelling like
beans,
French fries or chips or whatever the
Right.
case is. Yeah, so I took a job at a liquor store, and I eventually got to be manager of the liquor store there. And that's kind of where the whole my first business came about, was through that liquor store, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, little backstory. So we just talked about my dad passing away, and I believe it was 91. So probably about 93, 94, he owned a concrete company in Livermore. He had a partner. And after he passed away, after divvying up the assets or whatever and splitting with his partners and paying everything off and then splitting everything with the kids, I ended up getting $3,000, which to me at the time was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've never had $3,000 all at once before. I'm 23 or 24. Wow, I got to do something with this money. This is cool. I'm not going to squander this.
Mm-hmm.
So I started thinking, what kind of business can I start with this? Is there some store or something or some need that people have? What can I do with this? I want to take advantage of this. A lot of money. So I started looking around, and I thought, you know what? This place Breckenridge, it needs a tattoo shop. There's never been one here.
Wow. Every good town needs one.
Well, it was a business opportunity, right?
It's huge.
And I've got a couple of tattoos. I mean, nothing crazy, but I've got a couple, So I said, I'm going to do this. So I got my business license and, picked out a space. This is the funny part. This is how it ties into the liquor store. So in the back of the liquor store, we had a storage room, right?
Uh-huh.
Probably no bigger than this room right here. I mean, this is like 10 by 15 maybe. So I asked my owner, I said, hey, we're not really using this area. Can I give you a little bit of money? Can I rent this out? Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll take a little $300, $400, $500 a month. So I turned the storage room into our tattoo shop. I bought a sign that went out on the front and everything.
Nice.
You had to go through the liquor store to get to my tattoo shop. So I found an artist. I got a display counter. We got some flash on the walls.
So you don't even do art.
No.
So, okay.
I'm not artistic at all.
So that's an interesting choice. I mean, to pick a business that it's a business. It's truly going to be a business. It's not going to be a job because
Right.
you're not going to be in there drawing the tattoos.
Right.
That's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I'm just going to run it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I opened that up with the $3,000, and it's pretty cool looking back now. We were able to gross $100,000 in sales in our first year
Wow.
off a $3,000 investment.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
So that $3,000 looks like a lot less now when you look at what you turned it into. That $100,000 probably seemed like a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't net. I mean that was gross sales, but
Still.
that was pretty cool. And then after time, I outgrew that spot, so I got an actual storefront on Main Street in Breckenridge for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we picked up another artist, so we've got 2 artists working there. We expanded to body piercing and selling jewelry and things like that. So the business was growing, store was growing. It was awesome. And I had one of my artists. We changed artists a couple of times. I went through 2 or 3 different ones, but the one that ended up with us the longest, Sierra, he's still a good friend of mine now.
Mm-hmm.
He bought in, so he became a 50% partner. So now we're partners in this, and things are awesome. And we said, hey, look, there's an empty space right next door to our space. What can we do with that space? Let's open up something else. We said, what else doesn't this town have, right? So we said, we're going to open up a clothing store there. Everybody sold ski clothes and, rental equipment and things like that in a ski town, but nobody sold, like, guys and some girls, just like street clothes.
Uh-huh.
Everything was hoodies and parkas and
everything to keep
heavy,
you warm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but there was no like cool clothes, just cool activewear or whatever. So we opened up another store right next to ours for retail clothing. So we had 2 stores going at the same time. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and interesting thing you were telling me before we started on here, kind of what was the name of it and what was it themed?
Yeah, the clothing store was called Jimmy Vegas because we had always liked coming to Las Vegas, right? We just come here to party and hang out even before we had the stores. And we were just infatuated with it, so we came down here a few times and went to that, what's it called? Gambler's General Store downtown. They sell all sorts of, any sort of equipment you could want. So we went there and we bought, all the tables, like craps table, tops, roulette tables, poker tables, any sort of decor we could get that was like casino stuff. And we decked it out all like a casino. It was fun. It was different. Nobody in the mountains had seen anything like that, so it was cool.
Did it do well?
We did good. It wasn't like $1 million business idea, but it paid the bills. We were paying the rent. We were making money. And we eventually outgrew those 2 spots, and we decided to move both stores into the main mall of Breckenridge, where most of the shopping happened. I thought once you made it there, it was like the big time, right? So we combined both the stores into one big store and opened that up. Well, here's kind of a little backstory in this too. It's kind of interesting. So we decided to make this move. I think it was probably summer of 2001. All right. So about this time, I'm getting tired of being in Breckenridge, and my intention was for me to move out to Las Vegas to replicate the business that we had. So we're going to open another clothing store out here. We're going to open another tattoo shop out here, and then each partner will run
one or the other.
So, wow, this is great. Okay, cool. So we rent this big space. The rent was now about 3 times as much as we had been paying because this is prime real estate
in the mall
now. So we signed this long-term lease, and I had moved, I think it was the summer of 2001, probably in July, to Vegas.
So what made you decide to go to Vegas? You just loved it and you just thought that was a good place to go, or what drew you out here?
Well, I had kind of been feeling like I was approaching the end of my snowboarding career because I had a pretty significant injury happen. That's a whole nother story if you want that. I want to hear that one, but I wasn't enjoying it as much.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were ready for a change. So you packed up the El Camino and you headed out.
Well, I didn't have the El Camino anymore. Yeah, we had gotten rid of that. But we did pack up a U-Haul with everything we owned and came to Vegas. In the summer of 2001.
Okay, and so you were coming out here. It's 2001, and your partner was going to run that one, and you were going to come out here and do this one.
Right. So it was my plan to open the same stores out here. So during this time, I'm here, and he's there, and we have the new space rented, and we have to do renovations. We have to tenant improvements, right? So we're back there fixing everything up, getting it all ready for our grand opening, and 9/11 happens. Right. So this happens while I'm back in Breck. I'm living in Vegas. My girlfriend, my brother are here at the new apartment we have, but I'm back in Colorado helping with the renovations when 9/11 happens. And so, at that time, it was a huge deal. The airlines all shut down for a long period of time. Nobody wanted to travel anymore.
Right, and you're in a tourist town.
Heavily heavily dominated by tourists. It's dependent. It's crazy. It's a town of, at the time, 2,000 year-round residents, but 1.5 million skier visits per year. So, do the math. It's dependent on tourism. So after 9/11 happened, people stopped traveling. People stopped coming to Breckenridge.
Right.
And here we are with this brand new, fancy, huge lease on this awesome space, and people stopped coming. And so now there's no more income coming in. We start sinking,
Quickly.
very quickly. I mean, not only was there not enough business to keep that new business afloat, but there was certainly not enough coming in for me to open up something out here.
Which is another touristy area.
Right.
Right.
So, now I'm here in Vegas, and my baby is essentially dying over back there in Colorado, and I've got to start over. I got to start from scratch. So here I am in Vegas in 2001, and I got nothing again, right?
So what did you do? I mean, what kept you going? It's I've been through things, and I've seen people go through things, and a lot of people lost a lot of stuff after 9/11. But what drove you? I mean, here you are in another town, starting over, another chapter in your life. I mean, did you have a plan? You didn't have a plan. You just kind of day by day. Where'd you go?
There was no plan. There was no plan
Right.
beyond our initial plan A, which is to open up another store here. So once we realized that wasn't going to happen, I mean, what do? You got to do something. You got to get some kind of job.
Go find a job, right?
So I'm applying for all these different jobs, and my application, I didn't even have a resume, my application says that I've been self-employed at a tattoo shop for the last 5 years. No one would hire me, right? I can't get a job anywhere. I tried retail clothing stores. Oh, I own my own clothing store. Oh, well, it sounds like you're a little overqualified to be, just an employee at a clothing. You've been an owner. So I couldn't find a job anywhere. Finally, I had to take a job at a gas station. That was my first job in Vegas.
Here in Vegas.
Was at a gas station. Yeah. So this is funny too. We had one car between the three of us. My girlfriend, which became my wife, my first wife, later on, she had a moped that got stolen. So now we're literally down to one piece of transportation. So I let her have the car to go to work. I would take my skateboard to the bus, ride the bus across town to work at the gas station, and then skateboard back home. I did that for about 6 months. And fortunately, it was a gas station that had gaming, video poker, right? And they also have bars at, either in the same parking lot or it's part of the same business. They all have gas stations and bars. So I was able to talk the management into letting me transition into a graveyard bartender because now I had 6 months of gaming experience, right? So that's how I kind of got into that was my next thing after gas station was bartending. I did that for, I think, 4 or 5 years out here. 5 years, yeah, and 4 of them were graveyard.
So when did the bodybuilding come into play?
That, the last year I was in Colorado, we had one of our friends who was moving or something like that, and he said, I got this big piece of equipment. I don't know what to do with it. Can you guys keep it at your house? It was like an all-purpose machine. You could do whatever you want on it. So we said, yeah, we got the space for it. You can throw it in our living room. That's fine. So he throws this big thing in there, and we just tinkering around at night. We start, using it a little bit, and we're still at the time, we're early 20s or whatever. We're still drinking our 40s while we're trying to work on the bench press machine, stuff like that.
That's the secret, huh?
That's the secret. That's how it all got started. And then when I came here to Vegas, I thought, I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep working out. It's a cool thing. So I think not having the snowboarding anymore, the fitness kind of became my athletic endeavor because I have always had some kind of athletic something going on in my life at all times. So I needed something, I guess, at that time. So I guess that's kind of how that transitioned right there.
And so then it developed, I think you told me you did 10 competitions?
Yeah, over the course of the years, I've done 10 competitive men's physique shows. So,
Is that the proper name for them?
well, there's different divisions. Yeah, bodybuilding is like a lot bigger. Men's physique is more like what they call like a beach body type of look or whatnot.
So genetically, was it hard for you to put the muscle on, or did it come on pretty easy?
Yeah, it became easier as I got older, to be honest
Really?
with you. Yeah, when I was younger, I was a beanpole. I was 6'4", 6'5", 185 pounds. I was always the tall, skinny guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to be about 30 or so, my metabolism slowed down quite a bit, and I was able to actually put on a little bit of size. So it's taken me a long time.
To get there?
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this now for 18, 19 years. So it's taken a long time, but the older you get, the slower your metabolism goes. So it's kind of helpful, actually.
Yeah. So to do a competition or a show, I mean, how long do you have to prepare for something like that?
Yeah, it kind of depends on where you're starting from. What?
Well, it'd be a lot longer for me. I get it, but
Well, yeah. I mean,
let's say you were going to do one from the state you're in now to a show.
Yeah, I might give myself 8 or 10 weeks or something like that.
That's all, huh?
Yeah. So it really depends on where you're starting from and what your goal is.
And so is it mostly diet or is it mostly the lifting?
It's mostly the diet. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, you just got to be so strict with your food, especially for the cutting portion, when you're trying to get really shredded and ripped.
Is that like the last week or two, or?
No, that's the last, again, depending on where you're starting from, 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Okay.
On a really strict diet. So you got to, you're in a calorie deficit usually, so you get tired easily. You're constantly eating the same type of foods. It's really boring and bland. And you're training hard too. You're training 6 days a week, doing your cardio. So it's an hour and a half, 2 hours a day of fitness stuff, 6 days a week on a calorie deficit for 6 to 8 weeks. It's exhausting.
I'll bet. What drives someone to do something like that? I mean, what
Insanity.
drove you? Anxiety?
Insanity.
Insanity. Well, you were insane 10 times, so that's...
You're right. I might not be certifiably insane, but no.
Yeah.
What drives someone to do that? I guess the first time I ever did it, a friend of mine said, this new division just came out. You'd be perfect for this. You're not big enough for bodybuilding, but you're perfect for this division. Give it a shot and see if you like it. I was like, okay, I've been working my butt off for a few years now. So maybe I'll give something like this a try. This is probably 2013, I think I did my first show. It was awful. I got 11th out of 17. Looking back on it now, I looked like crap, But I thought, and it was a weird experience too. It was, being up on stage and people are judging your body and stuff like that. I thought, wow, this is a trip. This is really weird. But at the same time, like I was kind of mentioning before, it's a journey that's like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
It'll really show you what you're made of, what you're willing to do, and what your priorities are, right? Just to be able to keep pushing like that, no matter how tired you are, or how hungry you are, or how bad you don't want to go to the gym that day, to see what you're willing to put up with.
It's a pretty serious commitment.
It is. It's a very serious commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
does it become almost like a drug? I mean, to do 10, you almost think you'd almost have to be addicted to doing it or something.
I can see where that would be for some people, and I know people that are like that.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't really like that for me, like an addiction or anything. I wanted to do better each time.
That's what drove you?
Yeah. I thought I could, 11th out of 17, I said I can do better than that. I want to be in the top 5, right? So just challenging myself to do better than I did before,
mm-hmm.
not only in the placement, but where can I get my body to, right? Or how far can I push this? Like how good can I get? I want to
mm-hmm.
be better than I was before. So, and then after a while, it was like, okay, I've done the journey. I know what I can do. I know how far I can push myself. This is helping me in a lot of other areas of my life. Now I want to win. Right? I think it was the last 3 shows. I was like, damn it. Now I really want to win. I don't care what this, I'm going to win. Never did end up winning anything. I got second, I think 3 times was the best I ever did. But I've got
That's good.
I got a whole closet full of trophies and ribbons and banner, medals and things like that. It's pretty cool, but.
And a great physique, so.
Well, it's.
You also developed a supplement line, didn't you?
Yeah, that was part of my health and fitness career there. I did private label supplements, pre-workout and a post-workout, and I did that for a little while. So yeah, I tried a lot of different things during the health and fitness career days, which that lasted about 7 years as well. I guess I went from bartending into fitness. So I did bartending for about 5 years, then fitness for about 7. And then in 13, I got my real estate license. So,
what drove you to get your real estate license?
Well, you know what? I guess I was getting a little bit tired of the fitness industry. I had been training for still a long time, and now I've been doing it as a career, as a job for a while. We had a weight loss and fitness clinic here in town, a brick and mortar store. I did personal training services. I did the supplement line. We sold workout programs, things like that. And this is a pretty interesting story, and one of those things in life that just happens for whatever reason you don't know until later on. So at our weight loss clinic, we had a client that we were working with. He owns one of the largest mental health services companies in Las Vegas. They house about 200 individuals in the program, and he has about 40 or 50 rental properties that he manages to house these clients in. He says, Chris, I'm paying my property manager a shit ton of money, and I don't like the guy. Why don't you be my property manager? Get a real estate license and be a property manager. I was like, all right, well, this is something a little out of the box here. I never really thought about that before, but I had been getting a little bit tired of my career at the time. Wasn't really making the kind of money that I wanted to. So I'll give it a whack. So 2013, I get my license, get my property manager permit, and it sucks.
You hated it, didn't you?
I hated it, man.
Property management's a tough business.
It was awful.
So would you do that for 3 weeks?
3 months.
3 months.
I made it for 3 months. Yeah. I didn't care for that.
Yeah, it's a tough business. It's a very negative business, or it can be.
Right.
You got owners crying at you, you got tenants crying at you, and other agents. Yeah, it's a tough business.
It is.
So now you've got your permit, you got your license, and you figure property management's not for you, so you went into resale?
Yeah, I said I gotta give myself a shot at buying and selling here. I have this license, I just went through all this trouble to get it, whatever it cost to get it. I got to try to make something out of this, right? So, yeah, I said let's try buying and selling. So I just and I was at my original brokerage that I was working for. I decided to leave them. It's on the other side of town, and I wasn't getting the support I wanted, and went with a different brokerage, a little bit closer to home. And just kind of learn the ropes, I guess, if you will, about what buying and selling was all about. So,
did it come easy for you, or did you struggle at first?
It was there was a transition period. I have about 6 months where I had my license, and I still had to continue training people too, because I wasn't making any money yet, right? So about 6 months, I'm trying to do both. I'm during client training sessions, I'm on the phone with, potential leads, and I'm like, can I step away for a second? And I'm taking the call and sneaking into the back corner of the gym. So it was a funny transition period, but, I got it rolling, and even in the beginning, when I look back now, like my first couple of commission checks, I think the first 2, I had to actually go to one of those loan companies.
The commission advance?
Commission advance, yeah, that's what it is. So embarrassing. Of course, your broker has to sign off on it. Your escrow officer has to sign off on it. So it's like everybody knows you're in.
You need the money.
You need the money, and it's not a cheap service. They charge you like 30% or something like that. So yeah, my first couple of commission checks were on loan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made the transition, and it's not easy. It's hard to get started. It really is.
Yeah, but you look back at everything that you've done through your life, and you've started things over and over and over again. And I think your discipline and your commitment to success is always shown through. And it's kind of neat to hear all this. People, things happen to them, or they haven't. It's hard sometimes for people to pick themselves up. When you look and your story is pretty inspirational. I mean, from moving to Colorado, not knowing where you were going to live, to being a janitor, to working in a liquor store, opening a tattoo parlor, clothing store, crashing again, moving to another area. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And then when you look and you say, you go into real estate, which a lot of people struggle trying to figure that out, to be able to do what you've done in 7 years, to be, the top agent here at Signature. You should be very, very proud of yourself.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't really step back and look at it too often, to be honest with you, and go, oh yeah, toot my own horn or anything like that. But I never thought of myself as, I'm so determined I'm going to make it. That's just what you do.
You just
right?
do.
There's no other choice. There's no other option.
Mm-hmm.
If you get knocked down, you have to get back up, right? Or what? End up homeless or something. I'm not going to go down that road.
Right.
So you're
too tall to be homeless. Too tall and too good looking.
Yeah.
No, that's
no.
No, seriously. It's an impressive thing. So let me ask you this. Is there anybody in your life that's been kind of an inspiration or a role model to you?
Well, my wife, I'd have to say. She's been amazing. We've been together about 4 years now, and she'll probably laugh when she hears this, because she said, Chris, I said that you were my inspiration, and actually I think that she's my inspiration too.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. She teaches me a lot, how to have more fun in life, and how to be giving and supportive, and the love that she shows. So she's been really inspirational. Now I can't finish that sentence without saying my mom either.
Right.
Mom was a rock star for us back in the day. She essentially raised 3 boys pretty much by herself, working 2 jobs a lot of the time too. So we were not easy kids.
Yeah.
We were not easy kids. So yeah, Mom is a huge inspiration to me too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anybody
outside the family?
I don't know. I tend to look now at business people who I think are really successful and have done creative, cool things. I love watching Shark Tank. I love Mark Cuban. And just seeing those guys, it's really inspires me. To see how far you could take something. Right? You can take an idea or make an investment on something, or create a product or a service that doesn't exist yet, and blow it up. That's my kind of a passion of mine too, is that I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, just to build a brand or a business or something, to a scalable level and just make it huge. I think that's really inspiring to me. So yeah, there's a few business people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? Is real estate your final stop, or you got dreams for something else?
I love real estate. I think there's bigger and better things within this whole real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing okay at it right now, so I can't necessarily say I'm going to totally change course here and go back to selling supplements or anything like that. I love what I'm doing. I'm able to help people, So I think just trying to grow our brand, help grow the Signature brand, and kind of branch off into maybe things that are somewhat related to real estate under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But why steer too far off the course when the path's going pretty good?
Right.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like anybody to know about you? I know asking somebody that's pretty reserved, like yourself, that question is kind of a loaded question, but What's a big secret about you?
I've been held up at gunpoint.
At a gas station, or
I don't know if that's a big secret, but I've actually had a gun pulled on me twice.
Really?
Yeah, once by a friend.
Not a friend anymore, is he?
No, he is.
He still is.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends.
Oh,
Yeah. No, when I was bartending, it was a 4th of July night, probably about, I don't know, 05 or 06 or something like that.
so here in Vegas.
Here in Vegas. Yeah, middle of the night, like 4 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
2 guys came in hooded sweatshirts, stormed the bar, jumped over the bar, gun to my head, give me all the money. It was pretty scary. It was an interesting time. About 8 other people in the bar. You know, they emptied all their wallets and everything. I cleaned out the cash. It was a pretty serious deal.
That is scary.
Yeah. So they got away. I don't think they ever got caught. And I got fired 2 weeks later.
Because of that, or just...
Yeah, because the cameras weren't on, and it wasn't even my job to keep them on. I didn't even have access to the office where the equipment was kept, but for whatever reason, the cameras were not on. And
Sounds like an inside job.
yeah, it must have been.
I'm just throwing that out there.
No,
So.
I don't know. No, I just, I don't have any deep, dark secrets or anything. I mean, I like to do adventurous, cool stuff, like go skydiving or drive race cars, things like that. I've got a Harley. I ride that a lot. I go to the gun range and shoot,
And lift weights.
And lift weights.
That's pretty awesome.
I don't do it as much as I used to be honest. Probably 3 or 4 times a week now instead of 5 or 6, but
So life's good.
life's good, man. Can't complain at all.
That's awesome.
Can't complain at all.
Well, I love working with you. I love working with you and your wife both. I think you guys run a tremendous real estate team, and you're making a difference in the real estate market and in our office with your leadership and stuff. So I'd love to see you around a lot. I really appreciate your time today. So just keep up the good work, man.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Well, I appreciate you having me on the show, Brandon.
You bet.
It's been fun.
Thank you for listening to the Signature Life Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave a review and subscribe. Don't forget to also follow us on YouTube and Facebook.